the Valkyrie. Against the time when the riders of Muspelheim, with the giants and the evil powers of the underworld, would bring battle, Odin Allfather was preparing a host of defenders for Asgard. They were not of the Aesir nor of the Vanir. They were of the race of mortal men, heroes chosen from amongst the slain on fields of battle in Midgard. To choose the heroes, and to give victory to those whom he willed to have victory, Odin had battle maidens that went to the fields of war. Beautiful were those battle maidens, and fearless. Wise they were also, for to them Odin showed the runes of wisdom. Valkyries, choosers of the slain, they were named. Those who were chosen on the fields of the slain were called in Asgard the Einherjar. For them Odin made ready a great hall. Valhalla, the hall of the slain, it was called. 540 doors had Valhalla, and out of each door 800 champions might pass. Every day the champions put on their armor and took their weapons down from the walls and went forth and battled with each other. All who were wounded were made whole again, and in peace and goodly fellowship they sat down to the feast that Odin prepared for them. Odin himself sat down with his champions, drinking wine, but eating no meat. For meat, the champions ate the flesh of the boar Sarimnir. Every day the boar was killed and cooked, and every morning it was whole again. For drink they had the mead that was made from the milk of the goat Hydrun, the goat that browsed on the leaves of the tree Lavadir. And the Valkyries, the wise and fearless battle maidens, went amongst them, filling their drinking horns with the heady mead. Youngest of all the battle maidens was Brunhild. Nevertheless, to her Odin Allfather had shown more of the runes of wisdom than he had shown to any of her sisters. And when the time came for Brunhild to journey into Midgard, he gave her a swan feather dress, such as he had given before to the 3 Valkyrie sisters, Alvit, Olren, and Ladgren. In the dazzling plumage of the swan, the battle maiden flew down from Asgard. Not yet had she to go to the battlefields. Waters drew her, and as she waited on the will of the Allfather, she sought out a lake that had golden sands for its shore, and as a maiden bathed in it. Now there dwelt near this lake a young hero whose name was Agnar. And one day, as Agnar lay by the lake, he saw a swan with dazzling plumage fly down to it. And while she was in the reeds, the swan feather dress slipped off her, and Agnar beheld the swan change to a maiden. So bright was her hair, so strong and swift were all her movements, that he knew her for one of Odin's battle maidens, for one of those who give victory and choose the slain. Very daring was Agnar, and he set his mind upon capturing this battle maiden, even though he should bring on himself the wrath of Odin by doing it. He hid the swan feather dress that she had left in the reeds. When she came out of the water, she might not fly away. Agnar gave back to her the swan feather dress, but she had to promise that she would be his battle maiden. And as they talked together, the young Valkyrie saw in him a hero that one from Asgard might help. Very brave and very noble was Agnar. Brunhild went with him as his battle maiden, and she told him much from the runes of wisdom that she knew. And she showed him that the Allfather's last hope was in the bravery of the heroes of the earth. With the chosen from the slain for his champions, he would make battle in defense of Asgard. Always Brunhild was with Agnar's battalions. Above the battles she hovered, her bright hair and flashing battle dress outshining the spears and swords and shields of the warriors. But the graybeard King Almgunnar made war on the young Agnar. Odin favored the graybeard king, and to him he promised the victory. Brunhild knew the will of the Allfather, but to Agnar, not to Helmgunnar, she gave the victory. Doomed was Brunhild on that instant that she went against Odin's will. Never again might she come into Asgard. A mortal woman she was now, and the Norns began to spin the thread of her mortal destiny. Sorrowful was Odin All-Father that the wisest of his battle maidens might never appear in Asgard, nor walk by the benches at the feasts of his champions in Valhalla. He rode down on Sleipnir to where Brunhild was, and when he came before her, it was his and not her head that was bowed down. For she knew now that the world of men was paying a bitter price for the strength that Asgard would have in the last battle. The bravest and noblest were being taken from Midgard to fill up the ranks of Odin's champions, and Brunhild's heart was full of anger against the rulers of Asgard, and she cared no more to be of them. Odin looked on his unflinching battle maiden, and he said, "Is there aught thou wouldst have me bestow on thee in thy mortal life, Brunhild?" "Naught save this," Brunhild answered, "that in my mortal life no one but a man without fear, the bravest hero in the world, may claim me for wife." All-Father bowed his head in thought. "It shall be as thou hast asked," he said. "Only he who is without fear shall come near thee." Then, on top of the mountain that is called Hindfell, he had a hall built that faced the south. 10 dwarfs built it of black stone, and when the hall was built, he put round it a wall of mounting and circling fire. More did Odin All-Father. He took a thorn of the tree of sleep, and he put it into the flesh of the battle maiden. Then, with her helmet on her head and the breastmail of the Valkyrie upon her, he lifted Brunhild in his arms, and he carried her through the wall of mounting and circling fire. He laid her upon the couch that was within the hall. There she would lie in slumber until the hero who was without fear should ride through the flame and waken her to the life of a mortal woman. He took farewell of her and rode back to Asgard on Sleipnir. He might not foresee what fate would be hers as a mortal woman, but the fire he had left went mounting and circling around the hall the dwarfs had built. For ages that fire would be a fence around where Brunhild, once a Valkyrie, lay in sleep.